All right, this is seminar LP1. It's a high-level overview on Lean Six Sigma. We won't get into all the details of Lean Six Sigma, but this is just to help those of you who are not familiar with Lean Six Sigma to give you a basic idea. I know that I am a black belt Lean Six Sigma trained, and I know that some of you might be trained in Lean Six Sigma methodologies, and it could either be green belts or even a black belt, and that's great. And for those of you who are not, or have the ability or the um, opportunity to take Lean Six Sigma training, it's a good idea. It's really a good idea. It's an eye opener. So businesses, whether they are a manufacturer or service-oriented business, they have to be competitive in order to survive. Many businesses have to compete in a fast global economy, and in order to survive or stay alive, they must be better than just good. They must strive to be excellent. So from the word profit, there's different elements that make up what uh, what the elements are to make a profit. So P stands for process excellence. You must have a good process in place that has little defects and little waste, because this is costly to your company. You have to manage resources, so your resource management is key. It's your people resource. People are resources. It's not just talking about your assets that is resources such as cash, um, those types of things, but it's managing your people as well too. You have to be oriented to a goal. You have to be financially strong, and innovative is key to stay ahead. Well, they're all key elements, but to stay ahead of the competition, you have to have something that makes the customer want to do business with you. So, is your product better? Um, uh, uh, Not as costly? What is it that's unique, or is this a service? It doesn't have to be a product. It might be your service that you're providing. So, also a timely deployment of strategies. Lean Six Sigma is an improvement method that uses data to identify and eliminate process problems. It establishes new roles and procedures that work to continuously generate results. For a company to make a profit, they must control costs, and Lean Six Sigma identifies and eliminates waste. Um, to give you a better idea of the overall idea of what Lean Six Sigma method does, I've put together a little bit of a case study here. So we have company XX is a national insurance company with branches in many different states. Every month, they handle over 100,000 requests for copies of customers' policies. Data revealed that 20 to 25% of the requests were not filled in the satisfaction of the customer. So, for example, the customer called in the call center, insurance call center, says, "I need a copy of my insurance policy. I misplaced mine," and 20 to 25% of the time, the customer didn't receive the policy, or didn't receive it in a timely manner, or they had to make several phone calls before they actually received it. So that's poor customer service. So the company had previously tried numerous times to solve the problem with failed attempts. The company then used the Lean Six Sigma method to successfully solve the policy issue. Employees from each part of the policy retrieval process made up the new team, because employees from each of the policy process um, are experts, or in other words, they do this day in and day out, and they know um, they know and understand what the process is. The team receives support from coworkers, and that's key, especially for managers, because the Lean Six Sigma will not work without support. And they used a problem-solving method to think about the problem in new ways, collected data, and developed solutions. So they developed the solutions based on what the data provided. And Lean Six Sigma is excellent with the tools that they show you how to use. So it's just a real eye-opener. So there are 4 key elements in Lean Six Sigma. You're going to delight your customer with speed and quality, improve your process, work together, base decisions on data and facts. Okay, key number one, quality, speed, and low cost. The goal of Lean Six Sigma is to eliminate defects. It starts with the customer. Anything that does not fit their needs should be eliminated. However, the challenge is how to define and measure the defects. Customers want quality, speed, and low cost. Speed, when a customer orders a product or service, they want it delivered as quickly as possible. Quality means that the customer does not want the product to have errors or defects. And low cost, the customer wants the lowest possible price. I know I want that. So key number two is you're going to improve your process. Eliminate variation. The Greek word sigma is used in statistics to stand for the amount of variation in a process, such as a set of data or anything that can be measured. Fixing the process improves sigma levels. Variation is the most common source of a problem in the process. Another problem is the process flow, how the work flows through the process. It is the physical path the process takes from the handoff from one person or workstation to another, and you're going to eliminate the waste. For example, when I was a Greenbelt on one of my very first projects, I was observing clerks they had to take a form. They opened the mail, they gathered the form, and they took it down the hall to the group that processed it. Well, I observed all the clerks doing this and timed them walking down the hall. It took them 4 minutes to go from one end of the building to the other to drop off that form and then walk back. So it was 8 minutes. And for an hour a day, I calculated that they spent an hour a day walking up and down the halls just to carry a form. So the solution was to move the clerks that opened the mail into the room where the forms were being processed. It was very simple, but you're not even aware that those things take place until you do some of these Lean Six Sigma process observations. So key number three, work together for maximum gain. You're going to create an environment where teamwork is encouraged, where there is a feeling that we are all in this together. Then people are enthusiastic about sharing and learning from each other. Collaboration skills need to work together. So listening skills includes the ability to ask questions to get information. If you listen to someone and you don't fully understand something that they say, ask questions, because sometimes you think you might understand, but through asking questions you find out that you really didn't understand the process, or that there was more to it than what you thought. So brainstorming in teams can bring out everyone's ideas and knowledge. Brainstorming is awesome because you build on each other's ideas. You start with, just a few ideas, or, just somebody throws something out there and it just builds and escalates, and you think, oh, wow, great, come up with some really good ideas. So you're going to organize those ideas and gathered from listening and brainstorming. And you're going to come up with, say for instance, if you came up with 100 ideas, there's no way you could practically pursue each of them. I mean, that's just too many ideas, right? But then you're going to learn how to prioritize, or say, hey, this will fit our company best. And you're going to throw up 10 or maybe even 20 up there and say, hey, let's look at this and just focus on these. So then you're going to decision making in a team environment will include which groups and how they should be included and what roles they will play. So key four, base decisions on data and facts. So there's certain kinds of data. You're going to have result data, which measures the outcome of a process. For example, it's going to be the ending score of a baseball game. Process measures what goes on to get to those results. For instance, it's going to be the hits, errors, strikes, and walks that are all part of that process. And then you have four types of data. You have customer satisfaction, financial outcomes, speed, lead time, or quality defects. Now you might not have all four of these types of data in one project, and you might. I might only just have customer satisfaction or financial outcomes. Depends on your project. So Lean Six Sigma uses a process called DMAIC. It is a data-based technique, and it goes through different stages. So each part of that word DMAIC is as a stage. So D means define, and you're going to define the project, and you do this by creating a charter. And in that charter, it establishes, it asks, what is the problem? So you're going to create a problem statement, and then you're going to state the root causes. And you're not doing anything more than acknowledging that here's the problem, here's the root causes, and you sign off on it, your bosses sign off on it, and so it's like this is, you're going to move forward with that. Everybody says, okay, yes, this is a project that we want to pursue. M is measure. You're going to measure the current process, observe the process, gather the data, and map it out. It is just the current process. That is all you're looking at. What is actually happening today. You're not making judgment. You're not coming up with solutions at this point. You're just mapping out the process. And then in the analyze phase, you're going to, the data from the measure phase, you're going to analyze the data from the measure phase and identify the delays, defects, and waste. So when I was in the analyze phase, I identified that I had clerks walking up and down the hall all day long, and I was paying them to do that instead of being much more efficient. So when I came to improve the current process, I eliminated that portion of it, and it became the project, or the process became much more efficient. And if you think about it, if your customer, if you're building a product or a service, when you eliminate waste, which in turn is costly to the company, because the higher it costs for you, your company, to produce that product or service, the more you have to charge your customer. So that's just something to keep in mind. So then C is the control phase. So control the gains that have been made. So the new process that you implemented, you have to build controls to ensure that that process is going to stay in place. Because especially in large organizations, but it happens in small ones as well, people revert back to their old ways because that's how they were taught. That's the process they've been doing day in and day out for years and years and years, and all of a sudden change the process. So it's easily reverted back to if there's no controls in place. So the role as the manager. So managers must support the Lean Six Sigma projects by ensuring the projects are aligned with corporate strategies and priorities, because if they're not, it's senseless to do them. They're realistic in scope. So what this means is you could have a huge project, but it's just there's so many different issues there that it's not realistic to do it. So you have to, I could take that huge project and maybe break it off into 3 or 4 chunks or different projects and say, okay, we're going to narrowly focus on this portion of it and this portion of it and this portion of it, because to do it all as one big project is too huge. You're going to have identifiable and measurable hard results. So your first assignment is based on your current employment or even a previous employment or a bad customer experience. You're going to identify a current process that needs to be improved from a customer's viewpoint. You're going to explain the process, provide details of how it is a bad customer experience, and you can provide possible solutions or ideas of how it could be better for the customer. This should only be between 200 and 350 words in APA formatted paper. References are required, so if you do research out there and you have some fact-based information, reference that, okay? And then provide a works cited page, please. In order to come up with this in a pretty easy manner, just take each of these 3 different elements and write a paragraph. And you should come up with the words fairly easily. That is the end of the first seminar.